Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wee Ood, an unofficial Doctor Who watch along podcast. I am one of your hosts, Cameron, and I'm here with my co-host Ben. How you doing today, Ben?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I've been playing a lot of Dragon Age Inquisition with Summer Game Fest and the Veil Guard announced last when we talked about it. You said you were into it, but I am very much looking forward to it. So I'm finally getting around to doing a deep dive on Inquisition, and that's been going good.
How's it been? Good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as good as the first game, but
Mm,
this one's like open world, which
mm.
makes my 100% completionist brain do something. Little overwhelming, a lot of marks on the map that I need to go get all of them. But it's still good. It's good story, good characters. Anyway, how you doing today, Cam?
I'm hurt. Russell did not deliver on that finale for.
I was gonna
We're
ask.
recording this the day after Empire of Death came out, and Empire of Death was not good at
Really? Not even
all.
like not as good as you were hoping, but just straight up not good?
It's straight up not good. It's his worst finale. It's just terrible. It's one of the worst Doctor Who finales ever.
Jesus.
It's it's bad. It's really bad.
Is it, like, actively offensive, or is it just, like,
It's
messy?
very messy. The mysteries throughout the season were not paid off satisfyingly. A lot of people, and I agree with, are saying it was underwhelming, which is not a good thing to say about a TV show, especially something that people care as much about as Doctor Who. To feel underwhelmed by a finale when we know we're going to be on break now until Christmas is not a good feeling. It's also
Yeah.
not a good feeling knowing that they already shot season 2, so they can't even listen to any fan criticism or feedback about the first season. We're just gonna get what we get for season 2, and that's, at this point, scary.
Is it already all shot?
Yeah, all season 2 shot. They finished it. They wrapped.
Wow.
I'm hoping that means then it's gonna be what the season should have been, and a lot of people are speculating that it was probably planned to be, which is Christmas episode happens, and then, like, the next week, the actual series starts. Because this one, it felt weird to have that first Christmas episode with Shooty and Ruby, or I should say Shooty and Millie, and then wait months. And then when it came back, it wasn't people did not care, like, the general public wise.
It kinda lost all that momentum.
If it had that momentum of the 60th anniversary special, and then it had the Christmas special, and then it was like, "Oh, next week, we got the new season of Doctor Who," it would've
Yeah.
probably been
That
good.
was a little weird. It was like week, Christmas special, the next week, all in a row, and then wait 4 months.
Also, people do not watch TV during the summer because they have things to do when they're more stuck at home in the wintertime, so
Mhm.
Doctor Who is
Like a
probably just.
January, February would've worked
Yeah,
better.
or like an October, November. But we're gonna be talking about this in, like, 7, 8 years, Ben.
Not it's closer to, like, 4 or 5.
Well, 4 to 5 till we get to the new series. Like, it's 3 s 2
No,
2 years till
remember,
we get to
Cam,
the n
episode 100 is gonna be, like, halfway through the 7th Doctor.
but, like, we're gonna be 2.
So it's gonna be, like, 2.5 years before we get to new series. It's gonna be, like, probably 4 till we get to new series.
But then there's the question of how long do we linger on new series, like, then you have to add Torchwood and Sarah Jane to it if we're gonna do Sarah Jane.
I mean, I guess.
Like.
5 years then. It's not gonna be 7 years. I'm not gonna be doing this shit when I'm 30.
Jesus Christ, you'll be 30 in 7 years, Ben. Doctor Who probably will be off air, judging by that finale. So today's episode, because this has been our biggest ramble to the fucking
Yes.
so we actually tell what episode where this is about. Is about the Green Death.
Yes.
Commonly known, I'm not try to say commonly known, but commonly referred to as the one with the maggots. I don't know how much you're aware of this, Ben, but this was one that a whole generation remembered. if you went up to somebody when Doctor Who was, like, coming back in 2005 and said, "Oh, yeah, Doctor Who. Oh, yeah, I remember the one with the one with the maggots." Like, the one with the maggots, like, really stuck with a lot of people. Just like, people
It,
watched
like,
that
stayed in the public
like,
consciousness.
people saw that as a child, and that, like, just stuck that image stuck of just, like, the one with the maggots,
Yeah.
which totally makes
They
sense.
were really gross and definitely memorable.
The Green Death is, the synopsis is the doctor and unit faces the evil scheme of global chemicals who are polluting the nearby coal mine, leading to these giant maggots. That is my synopsis that I have come up with.
Excellent job.
Credits wise, this is directed by Michael Bryant, who was dating Katie Manning at the time. Michael Bryant directed previously Colony in Space, The Sea Devils, and goes on to direct Revenge of the Cybermen and The Robots of Death. Written by Robert Sloman and Barry Letts. Of course, Barry Letts was not credited again because he was the producer and they had weird rules at the BBC that, producers can't be credited for their writing or some shit like that. Weird BBC shit. So, Ben, what did you
Hmm.
think of The Green Death overall?
It was really, really good. Definitely one that I would we've talked in the past about this idea of, like, if you were talking to someone, what would you what episodes would you call must see? I think this is one. It's, you know, of course, it's the departure of Joe Grant, and she's excellent in it. It was really a really solid, well written, well paced story, I think. Very much in the style of some of these older, more unit focused stories. Like, it's definitely a lot like season 7, I think. More like, let's go to a place, what weird shit is going on, let's stop it. Bringing it back home after all this TARDIS stuff to a Earth focused story. And it was really good. What did you think about
It's definitely refreshing with this season, season 10,
it?
because we haven't got any of this. We got the Three Doctors kinda is a unit story, but quickly halfway, it stops being that when we got transported to, like, Omega's, like, realm.
Yeah, after
Um,
episode 1.
and then, we get, of course, the run of Carnival Monsters, Frontier in Space, and Planet of the Daleks. So it felt nice to go back to something familiar, the unit story. I always knew that this was one that I needed to watch. I wanted to watch this as a kid, but never had access to it. I have tried to watch this a couple times in the past, watched like part 1 or 2, and I never got more through it. I would say overall, I did not love this story as much as I think the public, not the public, but like the general consensus among fans has for it. Like, I wouldn't say this is as good as, like, say, Inferno. I
No,
prefer Inferno.
nothing can really top Inferno, but I think it meets and even exceeds, like, Doctor Who and the Silurians, Ambassadors of Death.
Oh yeah.
It's like a really not quite making it up to Inferno, but a solid Earth unit story.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of the best Earth unit stories. The highlights, of course, is the I would say this story has aged remarkably well. The themes, of course, very relevant today of pollution
Yes.
and corporations being evil.
What corporation is evil?
Very much like you could tell that at this time there was Barry Letts was the producer of this era was very political and very much like this is where all like Buddhism elements of this come into it. Buddhism elements come into the show via him, and also the hippie culture comes via Barry Letts, and that's definitely felt through this story. You can definitely tell like
Mhm.
that. There's an alternative voice in there, you know?
Yeah, a bunch of people wanting to live off grid, solve world hunger, take down the oil corporations.
Yeah, and probably the
This
government too when they had it.
and the government, yeah, when they get around to it. I would have to believe that this is based on, if not some specific event, just general real world fears and frustrations that were occurring in the UK at this time.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look too much into like what the political the aspects of this are. An interesting fact, though, is that in it, there is a reference to the there's a reference to the prime minister, and his name is Jeremy. This was written by Barry Letts, and he was a supporter of Jeremy Thorpe, who was then the leader of the Liberal Party in the UK. And he was one of those people that was almost prime minister, and Barry Letts must have been a fan of his. Jeremy Thorpe is kind of also tied into the Doctor Who realm because Russell T Davies wrote a miniseries about him called A Very British Scandal, where because Jeremy Thorpe almost killed his gay lover and then took him on trial. It's a great show with Hugh Grant and Ben Whishaw. Highly recommended, Ben. But I just thought that was interesting that there is something that is in this that is political that I was like, oh, that like Jeremy Thorpe, I know who that is.
Mhm.
But yeah, like it's definitely like the the whole political stuff. We're still fighting this today of greedy corporations
I mean, of
polluting
course, yeah.
the world and trying to find ways for us to live better in terms of the environment. But yeah, I think that this pacing is very. It's not your. I don't think that I would have enjoyed this as a small child. Like as a 9-year old, I think the Green Death probably would have been a little bit too slow for my taste.
A little bit,
Um,
maybe.
but I think as an adult, it definitely ages very well. Even though I think that in some areas the pacing does hinder it for me to not say I love the Green Death, even though I understand that a lot of people do. So, of course, we haven't mentioned yet the one of the big things about this story is that this is the end of Joe Grant's run as the Third Doctor's companion,
Very sadly.
and it is considered among fans to be one of the best exits of a companion in the classic series. What did you think of Joe in this episode, Ben? And what did you think of her final episode?
Yeah, she was really good. Lot of great moments. You can see this is there have been hints I think throughout of her getting kind of fatigued with the ever never ending sights and sounds of the universe and wanting to settle down. We keep on, basically every other episode, a random guy falls in love with her and she's like, I can't. I have to go. And this time she says, all right, I will stay. But yeah, this is definitely one right from the start where she is weaning herself off the doctor. I don't want to go to Metabilius 3 with you. I want to go fight for my planet.
And I think that's a great way to go into. I mean, and that's a great aspect we should get into, which is I love that scene in part one, where we cut from the Joe and her first meeting of Professor. Why am I
Jones.
forgetting his name? It's Professor Jones, and it's very much paralleled with the first time she meets the Doctor and being kind of the Duts coming in
Oh
and
yeah.
screwing up the experiment, and then the Doctor slash Professor Jones getting mad at her for screwing it up, and then just her playing, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I gotta clean it up." It's just basically that scene by scene just played out, cutting to the Doctor just going through the worst day of his life in Metabolis 3.
Oh yeah.
It's a great moment for this serial, and is one of the moments of the serial that does really well, which is the humor in it.
Oh yeah. The doctor was going through it, fighting for his life to get the blue crystal.
When Joe was just flirting over there.
Yes. A whole adventure you missed out on.
And definitely there's a lot of setups and payoffs for Terror the Autons in particular. There's that scene that setup and payoff for the first time she meets the Doctor. And there's also the moment at the end where the Doctor mentions her uncle that's part of the
Oh,
UN, and which got her the
yeah.
job in unit, which they haven't mentioned at all since Terror of the Autons.
Yes.
I think there's one or two other ones in there from Terror of the Autons that was setups and payoffs, but I'm forgetting it at the moment. But those are the two that really struck it to my mind of, oh yeah, they're paying off things that we haven't talked about since we introduced this character. But no, it's a great moment. In that moment, when she does leave and how sad the doctor is, and John plays that so well. You can tell it's very genuine that Pertwee is sad that she's leaving and that he's gonna miss Katie. There's some non-acting going on at that moment, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that I mean, I guess we could talk about the last scene where she or rather he departs quietly, just leaving and driving away. Because as he said before, in other incarnations, I don't know if he said it in this one, he doesn't like goodbyes.
But,
But
no,
yeah,
it's such a great moment, and, it's one of the best companion departures of the classic show and just the show in general. Definitely the best, I would say, from what at least I've seen of the classic show since Susan. Because there's no other really big goodbyes, something is even someone like Jamie is not really there's not a big sappy goodbye, it's more like, "Alright, bye, Jamie."
uh, uh, I liked Jamie and Zoe's departure. It is
But, you
a
you
little
know
bit
what I mean.
tearful, and then we see little clips of them, back where they came from, and they can't quite remember.
But, you know what I mean, though, is, this one's much more
It's a little bit more emotional.
a more emotional impacting exit, which makes the viewer really feel that departure rather than just "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
they're gone now."
What about Barbara and Ian?
I've never seen The Chase. I only know oh my god, it's London, 1965.
The Chase is my favorite first Dr. Dalek story.
Above Master Plan?
Ooh. Master Plan is good, but it's really long. The Chase is very solid throughout. There's always something new going on.
People are gonna fight you for that. Some people hate The Chase, Ben.
Who hates The Chase?
Some people. I that's not a love story.
The Beatles are in it,
Yes,
how
they
could you
are.
not love it? What about the death of Katerina? You didn't get teared up? But yeah, all jokes aside, this is yeah, definitely rivaling Susan.
Comes to that big emotional climax of, goodbye."
It's missing a grand speech though.
Yeah. But that's what makes it work so well, is that it's very subdued, and he's just you can still feel that emotion throughout.
Yeah.
When he hands her the crystal, my god. And just the way he holds, just the way that, he holds that drink in his hand and drinks the drink, it's just
Oh,
all it's
yeah.
heartbreaking.
As he's in the foreground and everybody's in the background celebrating.
Yeah.
Cheers to the bride and
So we have to address the elephant in the room, Ben. As as Americans, we do not have a lot of opinions about the Welsh because I don't know about you, but w- of course I have a different perspective because I've been watching Doctor Who since I was a young boy.
so you
But I've
have
learned
some
about
racism kinda built in.
no, but I I learned about the Welsh from Doctor Who. How much did you know about the Welsh before Doctor Who? Before you started watching Doctor Who, Ben?
I know they exist. I couldn't tell you how they differ from, like, the English.
But there's some people that say the story is a little bit racist to the Welsh.
When?
Like, it's hard for us as Americans to see that because we don't know what they're being we don't know what's a caricature versus what's reality, you know?
I guess, yeah. Wait, is,
Like,
like,
as a
Jones supposed to be Welsh or something?
I think he is, but then
Are you
again, we're
talking
so
about, like, all the miners?
the miners and probably, Doris the cleaner. And the milk when the doctor dresses up as the milkman.
And puts on, like, an accent?
I think that's where it becomes a little bit racist towards the Welsh.
Could be.
Um, one of the episodes last season that deals with slightly the racism against the Welshmen. It was something I thought we had to mention just because it's there, but it's hard for us to comment on it because we do not know because we're
Yes,
dumb
we are
Americans.
very dumb and ignorant Americans.
even like, but then of course, we still have to point out how absurd the naming is of what the Welsh like fucking towns and cities. I'm sorry, but like, like Ben, what is the town that this takes place in?
I have no idea.
I'm sending it to you, Ben. Like, how the fuck are we supposed to like say that?
Fetch.
Like, that's not how you
Lenf
pronounce that.
no.
That's not how you name a city. Like, I guess like it's hard for us to also say because a lot of people say that about like we're New Englanders, so we have a lot of like British names for cities. So it's like some people come here and they're like Gloucester. It's like no, that's Gloucester. It's like
No, I was completely wrong. Fiction.
even that, Ben. You just
No,
butcher it.
I
There's no way you can pronounce it.
no. I don't have the something for it.
But according to the TARDIS wiki, Robert Sloman claimed that the slightly stereotypical portrayal of the Welsh were due to his bad experience of playing rugby against the Welsh teams when he lived in the West Country. So he said basically, I had a bad experience, so that's why I was racist.
Wow. I mean, I guess that
Uh,
justifies it.
moving on from the Welshmen,
Yes.
like everyone else in the world does. Sorry, the sorry, Wales and the Welsh people.
I mean, I
Thank you
think
for making Doctor Who.
yeah. Our view count is just gonna go way down now.
That one person reviewing in Wales says, "Fuck this."
I don't have to deal with this shit.
You kind of have to. They know, Ben. They know. So, what did you think of? Do we go on to Professor Jones as a character? What did you? He, of course, is what they're probably the main side character that we get introduced this story. So, what did you think of Professor Jones, Ben?
He was good. He was likable on a noble cause, I suppose. Really into fungus. Lot of parallels with the doctor, like you were saying.
I think that the best thing you can say about Professor Jones as a character of the story is that if Professor Jones doesn't work, that ending doesn't work. This whole story kind of just doesn't work without Professor Jones being an interesting character that we like, an interesting, likable character.
Yeah.
And I think that's the writing and his performance. That actor, who is played by, I'll find that out. Who is played by Stuart Bevan, who I apologize, but his Stuart's performance, it really makes you like that character and makes you buy that relationship with Joe, and again makes that ending work.
Yeah. I think out of all Joe's suitors, he's definitely the one where I get it. They're most suited for each other.
Yeah, and it's like we already mentioned, it's a great parallel to the Doctor. Um, but yeah, do we go to just Global Chemicals and Boss, or do we go just straight to the maggots, Ben?
Let's go to the maggots.
My God, Ben, isn't the design wonderful?
Oh yeah, I thought the effects for him look really good. Uh, you can kind of tell that most of the time they're like just overlaid in, and they're not actually there. But it never looks that out of place, or or it never looks too distracting at the very least.
Yeah.
Um, it works well. The design of them, where like they have the little fangs, gaping mouth, and that hiss at you and squirt green goo. Definitely a
Oh,
cool enemy. I guess not alien, but species, I guess.
but definitely one of those ones where you go like that shot of it hissing is fantastic and one of the best
Yeah.
um best special effects of this era of the show.
Like the end of
Definitely
episode
as
2.
we talked about it, that there's a reason why this absorbed into the pop culture. and into people's minds throughout their whole lives being, "Oh, yeah, Doctor Who. Oh, yeah, the show with the maggots." Like, it just makes sense. Fun fact, Ben, they did make a action figure of John Pertwee in this serial, and he had 3 maggots as accessories.
Really?
So, it was iconic enough to get its own
Yes.
action figure, which, of course, makes sense, because like we talked about it, very iconic part of this era of the show. And yeah, it is great. There's a reason why people love it. But yeah, the to move on to the main bad guys of this, because yeah, the main bad guy I would say is Boss and just the global
Yeah.
chemicals as a whole.
Stevens.
Do we talk about Stevens or do we talk about Boss first, man?
Boss. Bosses, I think, is more interesting.
Yes, definitely.
You never seen the War Machines, right?
No, I have not seen the War Machines. Should I?
I would go so far as to say top 10 First Doctor stories. Definitely one of no, I can't say definitely, but a very good one in season 3. Introducing uh Polly and
Ben.
Ben. Polly and Ben, my least favorite companions of the First Doctor and the Second Doctor. But that's neither here nor there. That's the only other kind of big, I think, AI antagonist I can think of. That one has a sentient computer that mind controls people.
Like, you kinda have the Cybermen, but they don't really count because 'cause they're not like AI.
No, it's not an actual computer.
You have,
It's
like
robotic sized
what they
men.
had it's been a couple of years since I've seen The Invasion, but, like, who do they s what does what's in that one? It's like the cyber something what
Oh,
what
it's
they speak to, like, the main villain of that. I'm forgetting his name, but he speaks to,
a cyber controller in the wall that's
yeah.
sending signals to a like Cybermen spaceship or something, getting ready to invade,
That one has a similar premise of, like, we kinda have the
like a
antagon we
figurehead.
kinda have the figurehead of it, but, it's I'll just say what I think about Boss. I love the fact that it's an AI with emotions,
Mhm.
and how expressive the performance is by the voice actor. I
Oh, yeah.
I think that
Like singing and stuff.
like that, but when they get angry, it's like or when they get excited, like,
Yeah,
it works really well, and I think that's when it really is
yeah.
at its best. I
They
love
wanna
that.
conquer the world, but
Yeah.
they want it to be, like, cool.
Like, it would be so boring if it was just a robotic one that just spoke like this, but having it be more like human-esque AI voice
Yeah,
makes it so much better of a villain.
and the visual of, like, the big red circle with the, like, the waveform on it, I think
Yeah.
is really cool way to visualize it.
Yeah, it doesn't look that bad for 1970s.
No.
But yeah, it's definitely one of the best things about this story. I wish we got more. I wish we got him like the actual like boss. We saw him more and wasn't more of like hidden throughout the story, and then we get the big reveal of oh my god, it's a fucking.
I am the computer.
But again, I think the AI stories probably would have been like yeah, we had science fiction, but like for in terms of like science fiction mainstream, more not I guess yeah, I would consider Doctor Who even mainstream at this point because it's on BBC. So it's like science fiction
Yeah,
mainstream.
channel 1.
I don't think that like for mainstream popular culture, sorry, mainstream science fiction. I don't know how much AI was popular.
I mean, when was 2001?
Oh yeah, because like 2001 is like the big one. Yeah, yeah, yep, yep, yep.
The
I'm just
movie
fucking
came
dumb.
out in
1968.
1968. I think the book was around then
Oh
too.
yeah, 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 no, it was very, 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 very close. They were made at the around the same time. Um, so I guess yeah, 2001. But even that one, that's that other one that we talked about of much more like no emotions. Um, but this one is much more expressive and human-like, which makes it
Yeah.
scary, and different. But I love the boss of the story. Like I said, I just wish we got more of them. in my opinion, because I think that um
Wow.
mm,
According to TARDIS Wiki, he's in 2 audios. So if you really want more boss.
what audios is he in?
The Ninth Doctor Adventures Season 3 or Series 3, Episode 1, The Green Gift, and Torchwood Monthly 26, The Green Life, which has Joe Jones.
I miss oh god, Torchwood with the maggots is not a good combination.
No?
No, because again, man, you're gonna experience so Torchwood is just all sex. So sex maggots, no. That's just no. I was
Ooh.
picturing that, and it's just so bad.
Wow.
Uh,
I guess we'll see when we go through every Torchwood audio in 10 years.
but we have to talk about it's Stevens, right? Stevens like the main boss. I'm not forgetting
Yeah.
that. I'm not bucking that up. But Stevens
Yeah,
is like the main
Stevens.
boss behind boss. That but that is being controlled by boss. Slash is like I should just shut the fuck up. But like Stevens, what do you think of Stevens, Ben?
He was good. The lowdown is Stevens programmed Boss, and then Boss programmed Stevens to program Boss more to make him more sentient.
See, this is what that's why I was saying that before because I'm like,
So they're
I
very
don't want to fuck
much
up here.
interlinked.
It's fucking confusing somewhat.
Yeah. Stevens created Boss, I think, but Boss is very much the one
Yeah,
in
no,
control of things.
that sounds right to me, Ben.
It's a real Dillinger and Master Control Program situation.
I don't get that reference, Ben.
Tron.
uh,
Tron is the
yeah,
reference.
that just went way above my head. It's like you
Have you not seen
I've only
Tron?
seen Tron Legacy, and that was when I was a kid. I haven't even seen it recently. The only thing
Cam, we gotta start a Tron
the only
podcast.
thing I've done recently of Tron is listen to the Tron Legacy Daft Punk soundtrack, which is fucking awesome.
Oh, that's the best thing in the entire franchise for sure, is the soundtrack for that
Especially
movie.
just De-Rizzed in particular. It's like that song is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't understand how they're gonna do Tron Ares without Daft Punk.
don't worry, got something even better. Jared Leto, Mobius himself.
Oh, yeah. Are we gonna watch Morbius on the podcast because it has Matt Smith?
Once we, but then we have to do so much shit if we're doing that. We would have to watch. There's a version. There's a version that I think is produced by Barry Letts and Terrence Dix is the script editor. But Tom Baker is Sherlock Holmes and the Hounds of Baskerville, or whatever the fuck am I mispronouncing
Ooh,
that.
that could be
So we would have
cool.
to do that too.
One thing along those lines I thought would be cool to do, we've talked about it before, Quatermass?
Yeah, maybe.
There is a, like, reboot in, like, 2003 that has David Tennant.
Interesting.
It's like a TV movie, which sounds kinda interesting. So it's, like, before I think it's, like, a lot of similar crew to Quatermass 2000. No, it came out in 2005 even.
Huh.
So they were like, "Oh, he's good in this? Let's get him on. He's the new doctor."
Well, no, was it the fun fact? Sorry to correct you, man. Russell T Davies did a series called Casanova that starred David Tennant, and that was the one that was like he was like, "Oh my god, he's so good as Casanova. We got to make him the Doctor."
Casanova.
Yeah,
A movie?
It was like a British like 2 episode miniseries. I need to watch it. I haven't seen it. One of the few Russell T Davies things I haven't seen, not counting his kid
Yeah.
stuff.
I watched Jessica Jones season 1. This is getting really off topic. I watched Jessica Jones season 1 fairly recently. David Tennant is so good at it.
Oh
He's
yeah.
like plays a crazy uh fairly crazy psychopath, but you also kind of get him, but you also kind of don't.
No, you don't kinda
I
get
mean,
fucking
no, but you understand him even if you don't sympathize with him.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a great
But
performance. I
he's
love the first season of that show. That first
he's
season's really good.
really great, and it almost makes me nervous, like, am I just gonna see Kilgrave when he pops up in 2006, series 2?
But spoilers, Ben, I don't know if you're interested at all in the further seasons of Jessica Jones.
Oh,
Um
you know me, Cam, I'm a completionist. I
Oh,
watched
no.
Daredevil. I gotta do it in release order.
Oh, yeah,
Daredevil
we did
season
talk about
1,
this.
Jessica Jones season 1, Daredevil season 2, Luke Cage season 1, Iron Fist season 1, The Defenders, and so on, jumping between, 6 different shows in the order that they released so that I don't miss any connections.
But as you can imagine, Jessica Jones as a show does not work without without David Tennant. It's one of those things that you kinda need him or something as strong as him, and they
Yeah,
don't
I
they don't
can't
have a villain as strong
imagine
as that.
what would be stronger than that.
Like, you just can't. Yeah, like,
Like, I'm watching Daredevil, and it doesn't have Kingpin. It doesn't
yeah,
have I can't think of the actor's name.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
And The Punisher, he works, he's good, but
Yeah.
he's no Kingpin.
But also he's if I remember correctly, he's only in, like, a couple episodes of that, then he fucks off, and then it just becomes the Hand, and the Hand stuff's awful.
Oh, well, I spoilers, I
Oh,
guess.
I'm
I'm only, like,
sorry.
5 episodes
I
in.
apologize, but, like, oh, fuck, season 2 of Daredevil was awful, but just wait, Ben, season 3 is fucking amazing.
Okay.
Season 3
It's gonna
is
be a while before I see it, though.
season 3 is just as good as season
I
2,
got, like,
maybe even
another
better.
100 hours of television to watch before I get to season 3.
Luke Cage season 1's pretty good, though. I'll say that.
I just wish it wasn't, like, 13 episodes, an hour each.
Yeah, but that's the Netflix
I know.
model. But anyways, Ben,
Anyway, The Green Death,
Doctor
Doctor
Who,
Who.
the Doctor dresses up in silly characters, Ben. What did you think of those?
Oh, they were so silly. So, so very silly, Cameron.
And did you laugh, Ben?
I laughed. Both as, the milkman with the accent and a little cleaning lady
The cleaning
saying,
lady.
"Get rid of him."
The cleaning lady, which I believe is Doris. It was the highlight for me.
Man, imagine if, like, he was a master of disguise. How fun would that a season have been? Like, if he was always, like, sneaking into places like the master was,
But also,
dressing up
it's one of
in
those moments
drag.
where, like, it's something that's interesting about Doctor Who. It's like I can only picture, like, I can't picture Tom Baker's Doctor dressing up like that. Like, you can't picture, like, even Pat doing that. Like, like,
I could picture Pat doing it. He wouldn't dress up as a cleaning lady, he would be like, he'd get, like, the shawl where it's, like, kinda half covering his face, and he's doing, like, a voice like, "Oh, sir,
it's just
good heavens."
It just but I definitely cannot picture fucking Tom Baker doing that or Pete Davidson, but Pertwee's doing it all day fucking long, and it's amazing. But yeah, Green Death, Ben. What else is there to talk about? Except for, like I already previously mentioned, I think the story does suffer with the pacing. I think that this could have been a little bit. This could have been a good 4 or even 5 Potter. You could have cut
Maybe
some.
five-parter.
You could have cut some things here, and it would have been a really good tight story. Probably 5 Potters would have been the perfect length. It's just sometimes where it's like it goes back and forth a little bit too much, and it's just like, "Oh, we can speed this up a little tiny bit." Fucking
Mhm.
Robert Sloman and Barry Letts.
About there's some production kinda stuff I wanna talk about.
Yeah, is it the
What did you
CSO?
think Yeah. First, what did you think of the green death, the disease, where it's, like, all green on their face,
I think it
the
looks
green
fine.
body? Yeah, I think that held up and looked pretty good. Um, but specifically around, like, episode 5? I noticed that, like, within the same scene, like, there was some stuff, outside with,
Yeah.
like, the Brigadier, where one shot is CSO in front of a screen, and the next shot is they're actually outside. And then, of course, there's the car scenes. Those look terrible.
No, it
And I thought I caught in one a fight scene in season t in not season. There was a fight scene episode 2 where it looked like John Pertwee had a stunt double for a shot.
I did not catch that, but, like, my god, some of the CSO looked bad, in particular, like you said, the
Oh,
outdoor
yeah, when they
stuff,
were, like, feeding the maggots.
not great.
'Cause, like, they did shoot things outdoors, but they only shot, like, half of the outdoor scenes outdoors.
Maybe one of the
I
actors
don't
was
know.
sick or, like, they rewrites but then, like, that one shot that I sent
Could
you is
be.
the one of Benton and the doctor driving in the fucking in Bessie, and, like, that one
Yeah,
is the one
that
that
does not
really
look
stood out
good.
to me of, like, this is not good at all. But, yeah, like, I'm looking at one shot right now, which is hilarious, which is a miniature shot where they used actual maggots and, like, a model Bessie, and, like, they put, like, 2 fingers on it, and it looks so fucking funny. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Like, I was
no. I mean, I think I did notice that there were times where, like, wide shots where it was real
I'll
maggots,
send you
or it looked
the
like real maggots.
screenshot.
Yeah, it's
Ugh.
not great.
But yeah, it's they that's why I love classic Doctor Who because there's always that element to it, like, fuck, they tried, Ben. You gotta respect it.
You gotta respect it, they did try.
It wasn't out of laziness like some modern special effects. It's no, they just they didn't have the budget. They put as much care
No.
as they could possibly into this effect.
Anything you think you would change about this episode to make it better?
I
Anything
think
you would tweak? Anything you would remove? Anything you would add?
the main thing is I think this just needs to be 5 pots. If this was 5 pots, this would be like, in my point of view, a 9 plus story. I just don't think this is a 9 plus story. For my first watch, I could imagine maybe I go back to this one a year or 2 from now and I go, "Fuck, I was wrong. This story, it really is really as good as people say it is." At the moment, I'm like, it's a little bit slow paced at sometimes, and I wish that the pacing was a little bit more
Mhm.
refined. Before you move on, Ben, I do want to mention this one thing we haven't said. One of the best Brigadier lines in the show's history is in this episode, Ben.
5 rounds
Where he's
rapid?
no, it's where he goes like, I never thought like, wow, it's like something along the lines of I never thought I would come to like shooting a fucking dreaded caterpillar. Like I'm gonna get this.
I couldn't quote it either, but I know what one you mean.
Oh fuck, I can't find it, Ben. But you know what you know the line I'm talking about, ladies and
I know the
gentlemen.
line you're talking about.
It's such a great line, and it's a line that I knew as a kid that this story had that line of him saying, "Oh fuck, I have to shoot this dreaded caterpillar." It's like it's such a great Brigadier moment. Uh, but yeah, but what would you change in the story to make it better?
That is a very good question. Yeah, I could be a little tighter. I think maybe I think with the what I would cut is there's a lot of just, like, shenanigans with the mine shaft, like, "Gotta go down. Oh, I bumped my mic. We gotta go down. Oh, no, now we're stuck. Well, we gotta cut the cable. Okay, where can we get the cable cutters? Do they have it? No, you don't have it. Alright, I'm gonna go find it. Well, I bet they actually do have it. Let me sneak in. See, doctor, we don't have it." And that's, like, a whole episode.
Yeah,
That didn't we could they could just have it, I think.
but see
We didn't need to do all
that's
that.
that's the pacing issues where that I'm talking about is like there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, no, you could cut this feels a little bit padding-y. And I think you could just cut that out, and it could be a much tighter story and better story overall.
Yeah. Oh, I just remembered. the doctor's disguises were really great, of course, we said. We see a lot of different disguises,
Yeah.
and I thought John Pertwee did a really good job with that.
Mm,
And it makes me kinda surprised we never got a I mean, I don't think it will happens next season from what I've seen, from what I've, spoiled myself on the wiki about. We never got a doctor lookalike, like,
no.
with Patrick Troughton, we have, uh, you know, Enemy of the World Salamander, who's awesome. Totally different character from the Doctor, and Troughton nails it. And for the William Hartnell in The Massacre of Saint Bartholomew's Eve, the Doctor is, like, not in the story for a lot of it, but we have this character of the abbot who there's no surviving footage of, but we know he was played by William Hartnell. And I'm surprised we never got anything like that for John Pertwee.
And he would have killed it.
He would if he yeah, like, something different, like, if he could play a villain, that would've been cool.
Or just like a goofy character like we
Or a
see
goofy
here.
character,
Like he
yeah.
just he has that range of as an actor that he could play like his doctor very serious or he could play really goofy. Which is one of the best things about his portrayal as the doctor.
Mhm.
And you could imagine him playing a really evil character like Salamander. Troughton. Uh yeah, that really is a shame. So Ben, can if you have no final notes to say,
Yeah, we could talk about cliffhangers.
yeah, did you write some down, Ben?
Did you not?
I did.
I did too.
Awesome. So start us off, Ben, with the part one's cliffhanger.
Part 1 is the elevator is to down to the mines is out of control. They're falling, and they cut the cable. Or no, they don't cut the cable. That's the whole thing what they do in episode 2. They stop the cable and, like, weld it shut. Weld it stopped,
Mm.
and they're stuck.
My notes just say, "Oh my god, the brake don't work."
The brake don't work. The second one, they're in the mines. There's a cave in, and out of the wall slides a giant maggot, a couple of giant maggots, and we get a big close up of one of them hissing. Which, spoilers, I think might be the best cliffhanger.
Definitely up there. I just had maggots exclamation mark. It's a great cliffhanger.
Yes. The third one, the egg that they got from the mines hatches and is crawling up behind Joe, getting ready to attack. Fourth one, all I wrote was, "I am the computer."
Which I think that's another great one.
I thought it was a little silly, but it is good. And the fifth one is Mike Yates frees one of Steven's men from brainwashing, but then the guy dies and he's caught, which we never talked about. What did you think of the crystal unbrainwashing effect?
It's fine. It's I don't have much to say about, which is why I didn't bring it up.
I thought it
It's
was kinda cool,
I like the prop. The prop's fucking awesome.
and the effect and
Um,
the dreamy doctor voice, break free.
Interesting factors, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, I believe that Sean Pertwee owns that crystal, who is his
Is that
son.
his son? Yeah.
Yeah, he played Alfred in Gotham. He's
Oh,
also an actor,
cool. I still need to see that. And then the last episode, the doctor drives away.
which is such a great fucking moment. But since I have you here, I gotta show it to you. Gotta get your reactions on the podcast. Doesn't he look like his fucking dad?
Yeah. Yeah, if his hair was whiter and curlier, that would be him.
And
He's
like
got, like,
the
that nose.
I don't know if this was a made up if somebody made this or if
That
he did
looks
dress
like a
up,
Photoshop with the hair.
but, uh but it looks so good. There's always rumors that he's gonna play the Third Doctor in something like kinda like David
Oh,
Bradley in,
or
Once Upon a Time.
maybe he'll do like they got Michael Troughton for the second Doctor Adventures, uh, Big Finish series. They already have another guy doing a John
Yeah.
Pertwee impersonation.
I assume that the Sean probably would have told them that, he would wanna do it. I think it would have been a Michael Tron thing where they would have already asked, and he probably would have been like, I'm good." That's my dad's role. Uh, but yeah, it's always everyone always says, "Oh, that would be so good." Um,
Maybe
but yeah,
someday.
so best cliffhanger, I would probably go with the second one, and I think you would go with the second
Yeah,
one as well.
the
So
reveal of the
Ben,
maggots is just great.
what would your ranking of this story? What would you how no, sorry, not your rankings, but your rating for the story?
Let me see. I'm feeling like an 8 something.
I'm similar. I would definitely we're in the same
Is
ballpark here,
it
ladies and gentlemen.
is it better than the 3 Doctors? Is it better than Spearhead? I almost I don't know if I wanna give it more than Spearhead. Maybe I could just give it the same 8.5. Maybe I'll do 8.6. That feels right.
I do not have access to the spreadsheet
Are you
because my spreadsheet
signed into the
isn't
right
loading.
account?
I am. It's just not loading like a bitch, Ben. Uh,
I can share my screen and I can
that
type
would
it
be
in for you
great.
if it isn't working.
Just please share your screen, ladies and gentlemen. So I would go. I was thinking 8 point. See, I have 8.7 for the demons. I like the demons more than this. 8.5 for Carnival no, 8.7 for Carnival of Monsters, 8.5 for Three Doctors. I already made my decision, Ben. It's 8.6. I mean, sorry, 8 point yeah, 8.6, yeah. Right in
I
between the
think
two.
that's the first time we've agreed completely.
Damn.
Yeah, no other time is we agree.
Which makes sense because this whole episode we have been synced this whole episode, Ben. We've
Oh
both
yeah.
been like, oh yeah, that's I felt the same way. Felt the same exact way. I think your impressions were is that you liked it a little bit more than me,
Yeah.
but I think ratings wise we felt pretty similar towards the end. So overall, Ben, what was our rating for season 10 as a whole? And how did this compare to the other seasons of John Pertwee?
All right. Let me do the math real quick.
Math time, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back once Ben has completed the math.
Calculator. Alrighty, math completed. So your average rating, Cam, is an 8.02, and my average rating is exactly an 8.
This is the highest so far
Highest what?
ratings for a season.
No. It's the highest since season 7, which we both rated higher. You rated season 7 at 8.25. I rated season 7 at 8.08. So the best season since season 7.
Which I would agree with in terms of our ratings. I think we rated it, or at least I rated it
Yeah.
exactly how I feel. I
Yeah,
think
and
this
our
is at
average ratings are we can round and say they're the same.
I think that we would both agree that season 7 is better, but
Yeah.
this is the second best Predator season. When the worst serial is Planet of the Daleks, at least in my opinion. I don't know what you thought.
No,
I
I
forget about
agreed with you.
the ratings. But when the worst episode is the worst episode is Planet of the Daleks. That's a pretty good season right there. That's not a bad season in my opinion.
Yeah. Very, very solid. No, I guess you did get Planet of the Daleks a 6.9. Everything for me was a 7 or higher. John
But even that,
Pertwee. Mm,
yep.
go
But even
ahead.
that, it's like I watch Planet of the Daleks more than fucking Calling You in Space or sorry, Ben, the Time Monster.
You just don't see it, Cam. You don't see it the way I do. But aside from a couple, I'm very satisfied with the 3rd Doctor.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
it's and even the bad ones aren't, like, awful.
yeah,
Like, the bad ones is like a 6.
yeah. I just don't think that like so far, right, from the both of us, we've only had 1 9. And I think that's very telling is that there's a lot of good to okay poetry stories, and there's not a lot of bad. But I think because it's a little bit more like averagely like just okay to good, it's there's a really rare chances that it's a like, oh my god, this is a great like this is a great slash
Yeah.
awesome episode of Doctor Who. I think Troughton has a couple has more nines in it, and I think
But Troughton also has some
yeah,
bad ones.
um,
Some, like, really bad
and it's
ones.
gonna be the same for Tom. Tom,
Like, I did my average ratings for season 1 through
yeah,
6. Only 2 there's 2 of them that are
mm,
a 7 and a 7.14, which is season 4 and season 5. The rest are 6s in
mm,
the 6s. So, there are some great episodes there, but there are also some really not good
yeah,
episodes that bring the average down a lot, while John has always been pretty consistently
yeah.
high.
Which I think that's kind of the downfall is that you don't get that you don't get those high ties, but you get consistently like, oh, this is a
Consistently really good.
this is a at the very worst, it's a watchable episode of Doctor Who. You're never gonna go, what the fuck
Yeah,
is
like,
this?
even Colony in Space was, like, just
Yeah.
fine. Not not kinda boring, but not unwatchable.
But we're gonna that's gonna change in the Fourth Doctor. Fourth Doctor has a couple episodes where it's gonna in my opinion at least, there's a lot more nines, but there's gonna be a lot more like fours and threes and fives of us going, what the fuck is this? Maybe it's also
Wow.
helped that like you do get like the occasional nine and even like 9.5 and up in Tom Baker run, and then you get like the next week it's like, wow, this is bad.
Yeah. Are any of those 2s and 2 through 5s, are any of those 6-parters? Are they all 4 and
I don't
2-parters?
think so. Not in the Hinchcliffe era, the Graham Williams era. I'm trying to think. I don't think so because I think by the Graham Williams era, we kind of got rid of the six spotters. I think. I'm trying to remember.
What is the Graham Williams
That's
era?
season 15, 16, and 17.
Gotcha.
No, because I think Shadow was a six
Is
spotter.
season 18 still 5th,
Yeah,
4th
but that's
Doctor,
John
right?
Nathan Turner.
Gotcha. Well, lots to look forward to then.
Oh yeah.
Let's look at the polls for this episode. Third Doctor polls. So, the Green Death has steadily gone up. In 1998, it was 7th place. In 2009, it was 4th place. In 2014, it was 3rd place. And in the most recent poll, it was 2nd. So right below Inferno,
But
which I get. I don't think I would
yeah.
personally, but I get it.
I get it, but also I think they're a bit mad because like we've seen a lot of these stories already on the via the podcast. It's like I prefer Spearhead, I prefer the Damons, I prefer Three Doctors. I don't prefer to this, but I prefer Carnival of Monsters to this,
What's the best one we haven't seen? Time Warrior, 6th place.
and that's really it. Season 11 isn't the best season of classic Doctor Who, even though it is the beginning of the golden era in terms of we have Sarah Jane there, but
Yeah, and we're gonna get the diamond logo next episode.
yeah. So which I like I completely forgot to mention this is the last time we're gonna see the Pertwee era logo
Until
and
the TV movie, right?
until the TV movie, and also the last time we're gonna see that, title sequence, we're gonna get a new title sequence next episode.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, I have seen the next title sequence. I miss my swirls.
I think that it's I prefer the when I think of the Third Doctor title sequence, I always will think of this one, like the classic one. But
Yeah,
it's a good, title sequence. It's just it's not as good as the original, I would say.
yeah. There's a reason why they've kept, like, the same one for or very similar one for 10 years.
Yeah.
It is really good.
Yeah.
At least they don't change the music.
No.
Although, the next theme that they do partway through the 5th Doctor's run, which have already listened to, I actually think is pretty good.
That's not even partway to the Fifth Doctor's on this partway. That's at
Oh,
the
right, no, that's
tail
the
end of
tail end of the 4th
Fourth
Doctor, that's
Doctor.
right.
Uh,
In my mind, it's always the 5th Doctor since
oh,
that's
yeah.
his for the entirety of the run,
Yeah.
and the 6th Doctor has it.
Yeah, here's a different one.
Does he have a different one right away?
Yeah, he does. Oh, ooh, I think so.
For Trial, he gets a new one and
Yeah, but he gets a new
a
one.
new
I'm having a blank if he gets a new one for I believe he gets a new one for fucking, Twin Dilemma, because Twin Dilemma is the end the last Twin Dilemma is a weird story because it is, like it's kinda similar to 10th Planet, where 10th Planet isn't the season finale. It is it's not it's just like it's Kenzaro and Zanri, and then it's the fucking Twin Dilemma, and then the season ends. So that season 2021 has just one episode with Colin Baker. So I think that they do change the title sequence for that, but I might be wrong. But I believe so. I don't think it's with Attack of the Cybermen. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to be it for Wee Ood. Please remember, like and subscribe. Watch us on TikTok. Subscribe to us on OnlyFans. I am kidding. Or am I not? Maybe we
or
have a
are we?
secret OnlyFans. Um, please remember to share with your friends. And that has been it for me for tonight. Peace out, everyone.
Have a wonderful day.